Alright guys, we're back, and yeah, you can definitely see the oil buildup and shit. And there's the trans, and I'll give you guys an update on that in a little bit. See that nice chunk missing? But I'll give you an update on that in a little bit. Battery's disconnected, so this guy can just hang. We're gonna pull the bottom 4 bolts and then all of these, and I'm gonna try to just put a nice cut in the top of the RTV, that way we don't break the seal. Re-RTV it, throw this back on. I got the new seal. We're gonna clean up the crank, see how she looks. Probably get a flathead in here and see if we can't clean all of that up as well. Probably go grab some brake clean, but let me get these bolts out and I'll show you guys what we got going on. All right, check that out. We got her nice and clean the whole way around. Actually using you guys just to be able to make sure that I did, but everything looks good. So I got most of the RTV cleaned off of that little bastard. So I'm gonna start messing with this housing, getting that cleaned up, and then start throwing the new gasket and RTV on there. All right, we got everything back in, put some RTV on the seal back here, resealed everything, and everything's ready to go back together. The new one will not be in until Friday, so I'm just gonna sit on that. Might look for some new bolts in the meantime, but these have been all right. I don't know if I'm gonna reuse them again or not. We will see. But I do have the new bolts physically to the converter. I might just end up reusing these because I've done it before and I've never had an issue, and they're factory. But the ones that go into the converter itself are physically reused. But yeah, that should be here Friday, and then we can throw this trans back up in. All right, so you guys remember, if you saw last video, you can see the nice chunk taken out of the overdrive housing. And if for some reason you couldn't see that, I'll come over here to the transfer case, and it was snapped off before I pulled it, but you guys can see overdrive housing. Now, here's the deal. All right, so that transmission, we're gonna be throwing back up in and just putting the 5 bolts on, or 5 nuts. And then this one we're just gonna leave off because obviously it's not there, but it's broken. So they are gonna be sending me out a new transmission, but they understand what I do for a living. So, unfortunately, they sell enough of these that they don't have one in stock right now. So what they had me do, put it back in, run it. The new one should be here in about 5 to 6-ish weeks. And then at that point, we have to pull the trans again. It is what it is. It sucks I have to do that, but they are sending me an entire brand new transmission and then send this one back. So remember, this one has a billet converter. Once the warranty is technically out, you can see the pan. They don't really like that, but this mishap had nothing to do with the pan. So warrantying it is fine. When this transmission is out of warranty, what I'm probably going to do is get a valve body and upgrade, some of the stuff in the bottom side, because this transmission can hold a lot more power than what I'm realizing. And also at the same time, did you guys know that a stock Dodge transmission, if you only put a valve body in it, can apparently handle 420 horsepower? I didn't know that. I was watching Power Driven Diesel shit the other day, and they did that, and they said, depending on what the condition of the converter is in, because that's the second weak point of these transmissions, upgraded valve body, and then there's like 5 little tiny parts that are like sub 250 bucks that you put in where the valve body's at, like second gear band, and like there's an anchor and some other shit, couple of springs. Valve body and a converter go a long way on these transmissions. So just keep that in mind. The 48RE is a decent transmission. I'm gonna keep running it. No, we're not going to a manual. I wanted the NV 5600 swap it at one point, just because I didn't know if I was gonna buy a trans, and then I ended up buying a trans. So they're gonna send me a new one. It should be about 5 to 6 weeks. So when you see me pulling this transmission again, it has nothing to do with the transmission being bad. It's just that the overdrive housing is broken off. So they should be able to fix that, go through the transmission, and then be able to resell it once it's all refurbished again and get it out of my hair. All right, boys, here is the old one. Can definitely feel how thin that is. I remember I told you guys I wasn't gonna get a billet one. It's Thursday now. This wasn't supposed to be here till tomorrow, so cool. This one is double the thickness of the actual factory one. I met in the middle. I didn't want to do a billet one because apparently they break transmissions that aren't, super built. But this one is thin. This one is a little bit heavier, but it's definitely about a third at least of the thickness. And the pricing wasn't bad. So we're gonna use this new one here, if I can line the damn holes up. And we're gonna throw this in. Now, before I do any of that, I'm going through tidying up some wiring because I'm trying to get this off of, like, I'm trying to get myself in the mood. But I decided let's pull some of this stuff. I told you guys I was gonna make a harness out of the cab light and the wiring on here. So this goes up to the turn signal. I'm gonna loom this whole thing up. I went through and got all of that like done like that. So one, this is the positive of the battery, and then one's gonna go to the negative, and then this is gonna go up to the turn signal. Now, I need to go over something with you guys because I get a good amount of calls or texts or Instagram messages weekly or emails weekly. It's probably in between about 5 and 10 every week I get messages. So you guys see the numbers on the door here. These DOT numbers are technically these are my DOT numbers, but they are not linked to anything. The reason I have this on here is because the CP Logistics and diesel repair, I use this for my company of repairing diesels, mobile welding, all the bullshit. The reason I did CP Logistics back then was because I just needed an LLC to get paid for some of the stuff that I was doing, and then later on found out I didn't actually need to have an LLC, but I still have it. But I was initially going to do my own trucking company again and get my authority again. And I found out that leasing under a buddy's company saves me so much money on insurance. And if you guys call in, if you guys call this number, which is the shop number, and you get a hold of us, keep in mind, your loads are not going to be run through CP Logistics. We have a third-party company that I am through. Josh actually works for as well. I do not put that information out in the public because some of you guys are fucking shady snakes and are just constantly trying to start trouble with some guy that you have no idea about. And I've dealt with it before. I've had to block people. I don't know these people. People just don't like seeing success. So I keep all of that off of YouTube. I do not have the company that I am leasing with out there in the public, and I will not do that. Me and him have had a conversation about it. He was cool with me putting the company out there, but I don't need any surprise audits over that. So, like I said, when you see this information, this is for me. This is for the diesel repair side, and I did CP Logistics for that reason. Knowing what I know now, I'm going to be changing the name eventually. I don't know what I'm going to be changing it to, but just keep that in mind when I get these phone calls and texts, any loads that you guys get run. A lot of times, I'm not even going to be the guy running the loads. I turn it over to them because most of the time, loads off the street, I don't want anything to do with them. I will do the diesel repair and all of the other stuff off the street, but anything to do with like this and most hotshot loads I do not run. We got one the other day that Josh actually ran 4 hours down south to go pick up just to find out that the customer canceled. So Josh ended up driving a round trip down to Virginia for a hotshot load that ended up canceling, and we had nothing to do with it. So then Josh had to drive all the way back up here, and then we found him a run from York over to Utah. Now, second thing, Josh fucked up, and I get it. It's not his fault, 100%. It is his fault, but it's not, so I'm not gonna put blame on it. But for the clickbaity title here, we basically don't have central dispatch right now because Josh had a login, and they are really big on fraud, and it went through his IP address, and I guess his thing sent like 3 different codes, and after 2, they shut you down and accuse you of fraud, so we have to wait until Monday to get set back up at a minimal. So if you guys see me running out there, this basically cripples a lot because I go out, I generally get a direct customer out, and then coming back, I try to find something off of Central. Now, there have been times that I don't find stuff off of Central. There has been times where I get loads from a direct coming back or off of Truck Stop or DAT or any of those. Most of the time, Central Dispatch is what gets me back home. I'd say about half the time, all right? So us not having Central right now really cripples us, and it sucks. It is what it is. Josh is now sitting because of it. But again, he didn't know any better. If there's a mistake to be made, he knows he's gonna make it. It is what it is. I don't mean to put him on blast. He's just out here trying to make money, and yeah. So there's that. Now I'm gonna get the wiring done. We're gonna throw the transmission in. I want everything done tonight. I also got to do an oil change on that bad Larry,
And I'm gonna get all that done tonight, and then I'm gonna go tomorrow and get the fluid. I have 2 quarts of ATF on me for the transfer case, but then I gotta fill the transmission up, and we'll go from there.
Hey guys, I got everything all nice and loomed up, and this is the routing that we went with. It is what it is. It's not too bad. Like, some things go up and over and some things go under, you know. So it bothers me that this is under, but then if I put it over, it's going to bother me that this is under, and vice versa. The only thing, I'm waiting on a connector for the ground. This is for the inverter that's back there, but everything is in. My edge wiring is all right here. Everything's nice and loomed, and then the harness goes down into there, into the crevice. You guys will see. And then these wires are doubled up. I might throw some loom on that eventually, and also I'm gonna have to throw a fuse on both of these eventually. I don't know, I might not. This is for the amplifier. You can see how nicely I did that up right there. It's not hooked up yet because I don't have an aftermarket radio, and I'm not gonna dick with that thing that goes to the factory radio. I wanna get an aftermarket radio eventually. Just been decisions. So we got this loomed down here. I left a little bit out just in case I need to pull the headlight, so that's not a big deal. I can probably just fold that up and throw that inside of itself. But other than that, this is like the one 3 to 5 inch section of wiring right there. And then I do need to order the horn stuff. I don't think I'm gonna get to that this week because I'm hoping to be back out soon. I've been getting antsy. I don't know. The money this year has been great, and using Bertha for what the intended purpose was, well, I guess in this case, the unintended purpose, because I did not buy this truck thinking I was ever going to come back to Hot Shot. But how much money it's been making this year, I've been enjoying it. So take that how you will. If the money ever stops flowing, I'll probably not enjoy it as much. But I'm going to get this flex plate on wherever the fuck I threw it. I think I left it over here. I'm going to get that thrown on, and then I'm going to probably fire it up, make sure we don't have any leaks. And then we'll start throwing the transmission back in. All right, so what I'm going to do, I just put red Loctite on the bolts, got them tightened up. I'm going to spin the fan, make sure that it's not going to hit anything if I spin it without... Okay, wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to hit the shroud or break anything. I'm going to start it up. We're going to listen, make sure there's no leaks, because I have a... Fuck is you? I have a fear of having a leak, but... Is this thing fucking bricked? Hold on a second. Brewster. What the hell? Something's going on that shouldn't. Truck is bricked. What the hell? All right, well that's not good. And I didn't flip the camera around, the key hit it, but nothing works. All right, I'm gonna disconnect the batteries and reconnect them. So I took a multimeter to the batteries, and they were down to like 4.5 volts, which is really weird considering I had both the negative terminals off. I don't know how it died, because it had power to do everything up until it didn't. See? She dead as hell. I'm gonna let it charge for a little bit, but I'm not gonna start slapping this tranny up in. All right, let's get this thing going. We have life. Somehow. Damn, I have 314,000 miles on this bitch. I remember when that said 248 or some shit. Well, now the fun part. We can try to start it. Let's play that game. Let's see if she starts. Oh, hell no, she don't do shit. Actually, never mind. You know what? I completely forgot that taking the trans out kills the neutral safety switch. So unless we bump start the starter, it's not gonna start. I could do that. I could bump the starter. Pretty sure the wire's right there. If you guys want to bypass your neutral safety switch, this guy right here, and then just touch it to that. Just stick a probe in there and shit. Hey, we got her to start. She's running. Thank you, Dakota. Always take the negative off first, and then the positive. And then you put the positive on first. There you go. So my goal here is hopefully it don't leak. It's gonna throw a lot of codes, but like I said, if you want to bypass that starter, that wire is the one for you. All right, so I let Bertha run for about 5 minutes. I'm gonna go up the road real quick, and then I'm gonna come back. But we have power now. You can see from that one there. We're at about 13 volts. I do have the charger on it. And then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna check underneath. Make sure that nothing's dripping, because I don't want to throw this trans back on with anything dripping. But, oh, this creeper sucks. So, this is a nice clean spot. So if I come back and there's any oil on the ground, we will know that there's an issue. All right, here is where we're at. Transfer case still chilling. This did take me a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't been moving very quick tonight. I got a ratchet strap across just to, you know, protect it from falling. We got all that. The converter does spin freely. All the lines, everything is on. Unfortunately, I do need to get the shift linkage thing, because let's just say that thing is all but gone. But lines are tight, so I'm gonna go get a 4-wheel drive kit tomorrow for my shifter here, because this has always been fucked. I've just been holding it together with zip ties. So we're gonna fix that correctly tomorrow and get the 48RE shift linkage and go get the all the fluid. So I'm gonna throw the transfer case in here just like this, because this bolt right here is damn near impossible to get to. Actually, it is impossible to get to with that bottom piece on. So you have to take that off to get that bottom nut. I see a lot of guys, they'll throw the whole thing up in is one assembly. That's perfectly fine. I would love to be able to do that. Unfortunately, I am not set up to. So I just do them one at a time. I got this literally up there by myself with this jack, with no straps. I had to sit here on the back of it and just balance it and use my leg, reach out to keep doing this. So definitely would be nice to have a lift, but I don't think I'll trust Bertha on a lift, to be honest, because there is a lot of weight right here. So, I mean, even a 12,000 pound lift, I could try, you know, it's just, for me, it's just not comforting. Other guys, fine, whatever. But me, not really the most comforting thing in the world. So, yeah. I'm gonna throw the transfer case up in. I'm not leaving tonight till this is done. Literally all I gotta do is throw the T case back up in, throw the cross member, front drive shaft, rear drive shaft, and then fill the T case with fluid. We'll go get the fluid in the shift kit tomorrow. Poor Bertha is sitting here charging. Let's see what our battery percentage is at now. We are at 10.1. So battery is down there. I'm gonna make me some raviolis while I'm out here and drink my protein shake, but lunch break. All right, so anybody who says gym strength does not correlate to real life strength and isn't practical in the real world, to those people I say, you are retarded. So I laid right here and basically bench pressed this up into place. So that's about where we're at. All that's tight. Bolts here are tight. I'm gonna, once the cross member's on, I'm gonna re-finagle some of this because I don't like the way that that stuff's routed. Obviously, this just sitting here is only a temporary. I can actually throw that out. I'm gonna zip tie all of this up where I need it to, because if not, the wire here for the brake, or for the lockup switch, it hits the shaft. So I'm gonna get this cross member in, and then we're gonna start zip tying stuff up where I need it to be, get it up out of the way, and then I think that's pretty much everything. All the converter bolts are in. I used red Loctite on those, and then the regular bolts, red Loctite. Yeah, we're not gonna have any issues. I didn't have any issues the first time. I've done tons of these. I'm just slowly learning how to become more and more efficient with these, and I'm learning, take this out, and see this nut right here? Once this is in, you can't get that. All right, I'm filthy as shit. I've already washed like once because I had food earlier. Hair is like covered in shit. She's done. All right, transfer case is full, everything is tight. The only thing I gotta do is put fluid in it. And unfortunately, it's dead, which not that it matters because I'm gonna charge it overnight anyway. So it's gonna sit here on the jump starter, or the battery charger. And this truck should run a lot different because of just the wastegate itself. And yeah, kind of nice going through the wiring. I just gotta get that little end piece there. But I guess you're not going to see it run in, well, I mean, I guess you saw it run in the video, but you're not going to see it like drive out of here in this video. So in a couple weeks, probably about a month and a half, 2 months, we will be pulling this transmission again and replacing it with a brand new one. And other than that, like, she's done. So I'm going to come in here tomorrow. I have to run to Carnes Performance tomorrow. We're going to be dropping off both forks to get rebuilt. Going to be replacing chain and sprocket and all this shit. And they are replacing the Dunlop Q5s with Dunlop Q5Ss. Just the rear, the front's still good. And we're rebuilding the bike, if you guys want to see that on the other channel. So I got to do the running around tomorrow. I'm just going to do the oil change tomorrow. It'll take me like 5 minutes. I'm going to check the oil now, make sure it's full. And if it is, I'll just do it tomorrow because I'm tired and I don't want to fuck up an oil change because I know I can. There's things I can fuck up. I'm gonna get out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed all the bullshittery and whatnot. And yeah, I even opened the door thinking, yay, I'm gonna bring the truck in. I'm like, I'm gonna be done in an hour. And I said that at midnight and it is now 12:45. So just keep that in mind. And just keep this in mind, guys. I still do work on customer trucks, but I do not film the customer stuff that I bring in here. This is the bay that I use for customer stuff. If I'm gonna be doing customer stuff, I try to keep stuff away from the bike as well because that's gonna be done in about a month. So keep that in mind. Still working on customer stuff, so if you guys need diesel repair or any of that shit, like, I'm still doing that. I'm just kinda, you guys don't really like the diesel repair content. So I am doing most of the hotshot content. You guys seem to like that more. I'm trying to find more shit show trailers. I know you guys like those. Unfortunately, my trips, I mean, I guess fortunately in my case, but like content-wise, unfortunately, my trips have just been awesome. And I've had no issues. And we've been doing record profits this year. I mean, like, I know 2 years ago we were doing record profits, and then this year my record profits are like double what they were that year. So we're doing well this year. But hope you guys enjoyed. See you later.